Welcome to the Nuff Said Podcast, episode 25. We're talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the episode number 20 of season 1, Nothing Personal. I'm your host, Ravenous Rob Southgate, and my co-host is...
Jiu-Jitsu, Jack Windrowski.
Ooh, you're getting all tough and fighty here, huh?
Oh yeah, I want to go after Ward myself.
You do. So, you know what? Okay, I'm going to throw this right out there. This episode was awesome. I think they're just getting better. In fact, I think we're almost beyond the point of saying, hey, they're just getting better because they're all good right now.
Awesome it was.
Awesome. Oh, man. This is going to be one of those shows, huh?
Well, it was a great show. Just knowing that Skye knew the entire time that Ward had gone bad, and just kind of playing to the whole thing, and really almost unbelievable that he wasn't really figuring it out.
Right.
Almost to the point where
there were points in it when I thought he had it figured out, and then he didn't. There were points where I thought he's playing her, but he really wasn't.
I think he was kind of letting her have a little bit of the leash, but kind of he doesn't want to kill her. He doesn't want her dead. I truly believe.
Right, and he did say that too.
Right, as evil as he now is, he still really feels for her.
Well, that's just it. Is he evil or is he misguided? He's thinking that he's doing the right thing with Hydra.
Well, maybe not the right thing, but the quote that he said, towards, of course, now we're fast forwarding way towards the end, but I guess it applies here, where Hill says, you don't owe Garrett anything. And he says, oh, yes, I do.
Right. Well, and hey, let's really jump ahead. That's what we're going to find out next week. If you watch that preview for next week, that's exactly what it is. It showed young Ward and his relationship with Garrett. We're going to find out why Ward is so deep in Hydra with Garrett. But he did say that his feelings for Skye were real, and I do believe that was true. Although I think he was using it to his advantage. I think that he was getting what he needed out of her, and then maybe he was going to try to convince her to go with Hydra or whatever it is. But I don't think he's necessarily evil.
Well, here's the thing. Red
Skull was evil.
Right.
I'm not sure if Ward is evil, he's misguided.
Well, I think he's got conflicting allegiance, but still, when you look at what he's done, Ward has crossed the evil path.
He has. I'm not saying he hasn't. I think he has. I'm just questioning whether we could call him just flat out evil.
I think we're going to have to. I think he's kind of gone past that point where he can be redeemed. I think there's a lot of characters that you could say, oh, well, you know what? This guy, he did some bad stuff, but what was the guy that was the Asgardian and on Marvel, and he was trying to stay in the background, but he was a berserker. And
you mean the guy that was on here?
Yeah,
Peter McNichol, that character.
Yes,
and he was trying to change. He was trying to just be essentially human to live out his life. Right.
And they kind of called him out on some stuff, but in the end,
right. He was having redemption. He was trying to make redemption.
Right. And so
do you think that's going to happen with Ward? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's too late for Ward. I think if there is good in Ward, that they would allow for redemption. And what I'm saying is the exact opposite. He's too far gone. Ward is, I don't know what their plans are, but if they're gonna keep him long term, there's gonna have to be some sort of redemption or keep him in the background as a bad character or something kind of
Yeah,
driving
here
Hydra. But
here's what I think is going to happen. I think that Ward is going to play out this season, and then I think we're not going to have him as a regular cast member next year. I think he's going to resurface periodically. I think that we're going to have maybe like Deathlock become more of a main character for a while, or I think we're going to see that kind of rotation of characters.
right,
That's really what I think is going to go on here. I think that Ward is a main character for this season, but just like Whedon likes to do with shows, we were saying at the beginning of this season, don't be surprised if characters die and things happen. Well, maybe he's not killing them. Maybe this is how he's doing it. He's taking
right.
them out, and I think he was throwing us off pace by making us think that it was going to be May that was the one, but it's definitely not May. May is back in the fold.
Right. And even Hill said at some point to Coulson, it's like, hey, grow up. You were a risk.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of finally letting that storyline go.
So I got a question.
Yes.
Do you think we're done having the reveals? I don't. I don't know if we're going to get more reveals this year, but there is a chance. I don't want this to be, but there is a chance that we're going to find out that either Fitz or Simmons is part of AIM, or they're going to leave and join AIM. I don't want it to happen because I like Fitzsimmons as Fitzsimmons. I like them together. I like them here. I don't want to see that happen, but they're not Hydra. They may believe in the AIM thing, technology, science. They may embrace that at some point. Fitz has been different. You know what I mean?
They're trying to. Well, Fitz is there. I think they're really kind of trying to find his character where he sits. He stands about to be killed, and he's not going anywhere. He's made the choice to die. However, he's still the guy that cries. It's a very odd mix. And then we see him trying to toughen up, and now he's kind of the emotional kind of freak out. It's I can't believe Ward was our friend and now he's not our friend, and where's the world gone to? And then there was another little clue. We've been talking about the conspiracy theorists that Simmons has gone the dark side, and did they try to answer that in this episode where he just kind of looks at her and says, "Are you Hydra?" Just answer the question.
Right.
And she really never answered the question. She said,
that's something I've seen a lot, like people tweeting it. I've seen that one coming up a lot. She never really answered the question.
No, she said, I hope you never have to find the answer.
Right.
I mean, that's
but I don't think she's Hydra. I really don't. But
I don't.
She could be AIM. And I was reading, our cohorts over at Level 7, they actually have a thing they tweeted out saying, don't be surprised when it's revealed that Simmons is part of AIM.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think
if she recruited Fitz.
I would think Fitz is more likely to be part of AIM. That's personal, but I think that's because I can't be dating somebody who's in AIM, and frankly, I'm dating Simmons at this point. So,
well, you should clear your wife with that one first.
Yeah, right. Didn't I tell you Martha is actually Simmons? You just didn't know it.
Okay. As long as it's not Patton Oswalt, I'm cool.
Oh, yuck.
Hey, well, welcome to my bunker.
Wow. Was that your Patton Oswalt?
That's as close as I'm going to get. Boy, that's going to go over well at the Comic-Cons.
Oh, yeah. When you walk up there, hey, we have a podcast. I know who you are.
You're the guy who made fun of Patton.
Speaking of which, did you see what I sent out on Instagram for us this week? I may have even tweeted it.
You did. It was a picture of somebody holding a sign.
Do you know who that is?
I do. I have seen him on TV.
Yeah, Brian Posehn. He actually he's a comedian. He's been on just tons of different things and tons of movies and TV shows. I used to love him on Mr. Show, which was just a fantastic show that was on HBO that Bob Odenkirk was on, and David Cross and Brian Posehn was on it. I think he was a writer on there, and then he would be on. Just a great show. He writes the Deadpool comics now, which are so good. Really funny, really good. He was there at C2E2 this last weekend, and C2E2 was great. So anyone listening to this, if you can get to Chicago for C2E2 next year, C2E2, I kind of stumbled on that. Make it, because it was really a great con. One of my favorites. I had just a great time with it. But Brian Posehn was just sitting there in this Marvel booth. There were maybe 8 people in line at that point, and I had Edward with me, and we got in line, went up there, met him, and that sign was sitting right there. And for those of you that don't know what the sign said, it said, "Last in line, enough said." And I said, "Hey, can I get a picture of you holding that?" He goes, "Why would you want a picture of this?" I go, "We have a podcast. It's named Nuff Said." And he was like, "Oh, cool." And he held it right up, and we got that shot. It's just really, really cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah, so that really kind of made my day. The other sighting we had at C2E2, Marvel fans, was we were right next to Stan Lee.
No way.
So here's what happens. At that same booth, it was announced that Stan Lee was going to be there doing signings. And I figured it's going to be just mobbed, right? There's no way you're getting anywhere near him. And Edward says, he'd really like to see Stan Lee. And I said, okay, well, let's start heading over there. We start walking over. All of a sudden, there's Neil Adams' booth. And Neil Adams is, great cartoonist or comic book artist. Cartoonist. What's wrong with me? It's getting late. And we're like, oh, Neil Adams' booth. And we start looking at stuff there. And then I look at my phone and I go, we're going to miss Stan Lee. And everyone's like, oh, we turn around. Just as we turn around, Stan Lee walks right in front of us. I pointed, I go, that's Stan Lee. As I'm pointing, if I had put my hand out at a normal length, like if you were pointing at somebody, he would have run into my hand. That's how close he was.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he was a foot, maybe less, from me. And same thing with Edward. People are yelling, "Hey, Stan!" And I like, what am I going to say? I mean, he's trying to get through the crowd. He's not, there's no way we're going to say anything. But I was just like stunned, like, oh my gosh, I've been to how many cons? I've never seen him in person, let alone a foot from me. So that was really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that was his cameo at C2E2. He's in everything. He makes a cameo every time.
Well, there you go. Did your head explode as he passed?
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Lee, but that's my brains on your shirt. Can I have them back?
And Lou Ferrigno came and picked it up because, that's what he does. He's at everything. He's working maintenance, working security, working the booths. He's doing everything. So he came by and cleaned it up.
I would like to pick that up for you.
Oh, God. Yeah. Another terrible impression. And this one was kind of mean. Although I think Patton's was kind of mean, too. You know what? You're going from, you're like the Hydra very little now.
Oh, all hail Hydra.
It's awful. Okay, wait a minute. Let's get back on track here. So
actually, I do have to say a disclaimer. I worship. He was Mr. Olympia, like 3 or 4 consecutive years, and I've always been a huge fan.
Yes,
but
you worship him though. That's a little weird.
Yeah, I've got like a little shrine in my office. It's got Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk. I burn incense and leave quarters in front of it all the time.
Lou Ferrigno's awesome. He actually they used his voice in the mix of the Hulk's voice in the Avengers.
Really?
Yes. Because he had that, Roar! They used that in there to get the right sound.
Oh, that is very cool.
So even though he's not in it, they give him a little shout out. I think they really should give him his props and have him in somehow in one of these movies. Yeah, I really do.
Well, didn't they he did have a cameo in that first Hulk remake.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just like for a scene. And
the one with, he wasn't in the one with Edward Norton. He was in the one with Eric Bana?
I think so.
Wow, I don't remember that. You know what? We need more. We need him to have a cameo in Avengers or the next Hulk standalone movie, which will happen. There's been lots of rumors flying about that.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
Yeah, I he deserves it. It's kind of like in the Batman movies that the fact that they haven't put Adam West in a cameo. It's like, really, I get it. You're trying to separate from 66 Batman, but don't give the guy a cameo because Adam West was our Batman.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of 66 Batman, there's a comic book of 66 Batman, which is really good. And just a little shout out here, C2E2, Artist Sally, I met the writer.
Really?
Yeah. And really, really great guy. And we geeked out about 66 Batman for a minute. Like I told him, oh yeah, the podcasting network. We started talking about that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden it was like, we started talking about movie theaters and events, and then he said, "Yeah, I was at a thing where they showed the Batman movie, and then they had him and the artist go up on stage and do signings, do a little Q&A, and then they did signings." It's like, oh, that's so awesome! And yeah, I'm going to see if we could maybe get him to come out when we do one of our events because he was really cool. And 66 Batman, come on, that's just awesome stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, you know what I would like to see? Here we go. I'm going to do a little dream casting here for you. I would like to see some Marvel do this at some point. Take one of their properties, take like an unexpected one, like Spider-Man, where they don't have the rights to the movie, but they do have the rights to TV Spider-Man, right? I think they
Right.
do. Or just take any of those that they do. And rather than making it part of the MCU, do like a 66 Spider-Man series. Make
Ooh.
it campy, make it look like 66 Batman, like do that kind of a thing, but make it Spider-Man or make it Daredevil or make it Punisher, something like that. But I think they should do a property that they don't have the rights to, but they do have TV rights to, because then it's not something they're going to put in the MCU, but they could utilize the characters and they could have, I mean, it would be printing money. I mean, I think about it. First of all, we would be podcasting about it, which is, you know, of course, what they're looking for.
Right.
But they, if they did T-shirts, if they did toys, we'd be all over that. I mean, it would be just like, take my money. 66 Spider-Man. I'm calling for it right now.
And I think the theme song should be Woody Shaw's version.
What, he did a version of Spider-Man? Spider-Man.
Yeah, except it's like, you know, this like 1970s trumpet jazz.
Oh, sweet. You know, there was an article I was reading this week. I don't know if you ever saw the sizzle reel for it. You can find it on YouTube. But Joe Carnahan was going to do the Daredevil a few years ago. He was pitching a trilogy of Daredevil movies, but they
Right.
were going to be set in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it looked really, really cool.
Huh.
You know, now they're not going to do something like that unless they can have them travel in time like they did with Captain America. They're not going to have, you know, 70s Daredevil because they can't integrate him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But they
Right.
could do it with a TV show.
Ooh, that is true.
But a 66 Daredevil? Oh, that would be incredible.
Maybe it would redeem. Maybe they could do that in conjunction with an Elektra and redeem both movies at the same time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How about 66 Shield?
Oh,
Oh, can you imagine? It would be the Nick Fury from the comics.
that would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be too much.
You know,
Oh, I couldn't stand it.
you know who I would, and this is almost blasphemous, but the guy that plays the Colonel on this Agents of Shield,
Which one?
the one that's been chasing Coulson,
Talbot?
Talbot.
Yeah.
You know, he's got that 60s haircut, and if you know the what do you call that? The flat top.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we call it the high and tight in the military. He's got that high and tight. He's got that kind of angular face. If you put the black patch, that would be like the 1960s Nick Fury.
Yeah. Totally. No,
he-
you know who I'm thinking?
Who?
Don Draper. Mad
No.
Men.
Oh yeah.
You know, because Mad Men's about to end. He's going to have a little free time. Do a 66 Shield, just a Netflix show. Do 6 episodes. Give me 12 episodes with him playing 66 Nick Fury. That would be killer.
That would be killer.
Oh, Lola wouldn't be like a retro vet. Lola would be like the hot new hotness vet, but it would be a 66. Oh, that would be too much.
Oh, that would be awesome. And here's an update on the Lou Ferrigno. It was the Incredible Hulk in 2008 with Edward Norton.
Oh, he's in that one. What is he, like a security guard or something? Or
Exactly. He's the security guard, and something's kind of flashing through, and boom, you see him in the uniform. It's like, oh, it's Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to go back. I've got that Blu-ray. Gonna have to go back and watch that.
And he's actually credited where, there's actually a lot of people that were in there that didn't get credit, like Stan Lee and Tony Stark. There are a lot of uncredited, but yeah, he even made it into the actual credits.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, they definitely gave him a nod. Because I was thinking, for some reason, I thought it was the first one, which really didn't go over very well, but...
No. You know what? It's funny when we saw that first one. I actually, and we'll actually have to do a breakdown of those movies. But when I saw the first one, I actually liked it okay, and I think it was just because, if you go back before this whole MCU thing was happening, I was a comics fan, and I was starved for comic book movies. Now that
Right.
they're everywhere, and people are like, "Oh, it's got to be quality and this and that." Back then, I mean, I rented Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher because I so badly wanted to see a Punisher movie. I watched the David Hasselhoff Shield movie because I so badly wanted a Nick Fury movie. So that
Right.
Hulk movie, I saw that, and I'm like, I was willing to accept Hulk dogs and all the weirdness and all the lameness because it was Hulk and it was awesome. Then I saw the Edward Norton one, and I was like, this one makes more sense. And that one fits in the MCU.
Right.
I'm glad they went with the MCU. I'm glad they've got that together because I couldn't be happier.
So let's get back to the MCU.
Yes, let's get back to this show. We went way off.
We did, but it's a Marvel show. We can do that.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's our show. That's where we can't stay on topic, but at least this time we talked Marvel.
That is true. We weren't talking about the third floor of the library and talking
right
about some random, medical book section. However, there were some big reveals up in this episode.
Reveals. Okay, let's break down a couple of them. Have you got one you want to talk about? Because I'm looking at my notes here, and one of them is just jumping out at me here.
All right, we'll go with that.
Okay, first thing that jumps out at me. And then there was a great Easter egg in here too. First thing that jumped out at me, we see May digging in Coulson's coffin. She comes up with that hard drive, and we find out who. Well, you know what? We didn't. We didn't find out. No, we didn't. We didn't find out who pulled the strings. We found out that Coulson himself was involved in the Tahiti thing.
Right. Well, he was the one.
He wasn't giving the orders to do it to him.
Right.
So we still never found out who it was. They asked if it was Pierce. I don't know if you remember Pierce, but that was Robert Redford's character in Captain America 2.
Right.
And they asked, is it him? Because he's had a Hydra, and it's like they never said whether it was or not. I'm telling you, it's not. I'm telling you, it's somebody else that gave Fury the orders to do this. But now we know Coulson was high enough up that he was the one in charge of Tahiti.
Right. And this is the thing where this kind of explains why all the protocols about Coulson is that everybody that's been tested in these trials has not fared well. They alluded to maybe some successes where they've wiped out the memories of what happened and the complete experience. And that's the only way that these people were able, that some were able to survive. But Coulson was involved in the program.
And with him, they just wiped it straight out.
Right. And that's
No, they took that whole part of his memory right out. He remembers things from his past. There's like a block of time that they just pierced out and took.
Right, because now what they're saying is they had to, for this to be even have a chance of success.
Right.
But May the entire time made it seem like she was driving the bus, where that's really not true. May got to pick out the team.
Right.
But really, this was all under Coulson's and Fury's direction.
Right. Although May didn't know that because she was surprised at Coulson's involvement in all this. But you're right. I mean, now we know that Coulson, without knowing it, in this version of Coulson, was very involved. Very involved. In fact, he tried to pull the plug on it, and then it ended up getting done to him.
Right. Isn't that ironic?
I thought that was a great reveal.
Well, here's the thing that really got me about that reveal.
Yeah.
If you're going to invest all this in Coulson, yet you're still going to really not trust where he's going with it, or is he going to have that lapse? And really, it almost means the team's whole means of existence is to follow around Coulson. That just never made sense to me.
Yeah, right.
Why do you assemble? No, I have to say, if I was talking to May, I would really have to say, look, get over yourself. We didn't put these amount of resources in so that you could follow around this guy
right.
finishing up missions. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
But now it's something starts to make sense if really, she doesn't even know that she's
Yeah,
even back
right.
then really answering to Coulson.
Yes.
And,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
This was all really well played.
it was.
Somehow this show went from kind of, sucking wind and being, you and I liked it, but most people didn't, to all of a sudden, this is a show that's got you talking. This has some stuff going on, and things are starting to connect and starting to make sense in a big bad way. This was great. And okay, I want to throw out I'm getting distracted here because I'm thinking about all these things so fast. Maria Hill, we see her at the beginning. Thank goodness. I love when Maria Hill's on.
Oh, yeah.
Two things with Maria Hill, though. She tells May that Fury's dead, and I want to point something out here. Actually, one of our listeners pointed it out. If you look, and I'm not positive about this, but I think you and I questioned this before, and they said it right here. Our listener said it. Uh, when in Captain America, Maria Hill is the one that takes Captain America and Black Widow to Nick Fury, meaning she knows he's alive. So why is she lying about it to May here? Why is she hiding it to May? Is this just how it is? Is this just how Shield operates?
Well, this is how Shield operates. It definitely is, and that's the way Fury has ran this the entire time. Fury wants as few people to know that he's alive. The only people that are going to know are going to be Nick, the Cap, and Maria.
Right. Okay.
And who else? Was there anyone else there?
Uh, doesn't Coulson know now?
Yes, Coulson.
Am
Yeah,
I getting that wrong? Didn't
did
Koenig tell him?
I think Koenig did tell him, but he said you cannot tell the rest of the team. And
Yes.
so the reason that she can't tell May is May's not cleared for it. May, as much as she wanted to kind of step up into that role.
So that is what she was doing there. She wasn't. It wasn't a mistake there. I didn't think it was, but I kind of forgot that, and then I think we did address it on another show. You know what, Jack? It's just too much. I can't remember everything.
Well, it's that little like subtle hint that the show is not very good at, where the clairvoyant, there really aren't clairvoyant powers. We don't
Right,
believe in
right.
clairvoyant powers, and of course, we were getting aggravated about the whole thing. However, in the end, yes, the clairvoyant actually didn't have clairvoyant powers. So
Right, right.
now they're on this kick where there are no more agents of Shield. They don't exist, and of course they keep repeating this and even kind of grilling Coulson as why are you doing this? If you're doing this, this is out of revenge, but you are no longer part of a team.
Right.
There is no mission, there is no duty, and I think that's their very unsubtle way of kind of rebuilding the team. There's going to be some sort of reveal where we start to put all this together. My conjecture is this is the birth of AIM.
Okay.
That
So you
AIM,
don't think AIM's already functioning? You think this is the birth of AIM that we're seeing here?
I think
And that
even
could be. We were talking about Simmons. I mean, maybe there's already this sciency thing kind of going, and AIM is going to grow out of it right now.
right. Yeah, everybody has the conjecture that she's part of something. And so everybody's going, oh, it must be Hydra. It must be Hydra. And I think what we're saying is, no, it must be AIM.
No, what you're saying is it must be AIM. I'm still saying I'm not convinced. There's a chance that it could that those two could be doing something, but there's also a good chance that they're not.
Okay. I misunderstood your reading then, but I am going
But I think I can see your point, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying this is one of those areas where I won't be surprised if we find out Simmons is part of AIM. And I think that your logic about it is right on, man. I mean, the idea that it would be AIM is a perfect thought. Although, once again, could Sword be, something that's going to evolve in all of this, and then they become part of Sword, and then Sword is at odds with Shield eventually, and blah blah blah. I mean, that could be it too.
well,
But we sure haven't seen AIM pop up in this series yet.
Right. Well, they're going to have to do something because the shield has just imploded. I think something, sword or aim or something, has to fill that void. And then from that, once they kind of get entrenched, something like an aim, then shield kind of rebuilds. And yet there's going to be this kind of at odds thing, like the CIA and the FBI
Uh-huh.
and the local police. It's like, well, of course, how did that work for you last time, Shield? Ha 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 ha. That kind of, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
where there's a lot of,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like you guys imploded, So, like I say, there were a lot of reveals.
Oh man, there were. Okay, she also we now at the end of Captain America when she's in the thing with Nick Fury, Maria Hill, if I'm remembering right, she says something about how she's going to be talking to Stark Industries.
Right,
And in this, the person she's on the phone with, Pepper Potts. So she's working with Stark, or she's in the fold with Stark at this
right.
point. And she also says that they ask her who or what is the Man Thing. Are we going to get Man Thing on here?
That could be.
Or are we leading into a Netflix series? Season, phase 2 of Netflix is going to have Man Thing. We're going to get in some of that mystical stuff.
Ooh.
Oh, please make it happen.
Oh, there's no such thing as mystical things and stuff.
Here we go. Phase 2. Man Thing, Punisher, because we all want Punisher, right? And then we've got 2 more we can fill. 66 Batman. No, I'm sorry, 66 Spider-Man. Now you got me doing Batman. You with your DC blurring of the lines. And then who can we do for their 4th series?
Oh,
I mean, as much as I
God.
like to say, let's keep going with Daredevil, if they introduce 4 new ones each time, so we get our Dream 66 series, they could even do 66 Marvels. Just call it that.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude.
How
That would be awesome.
How about 66 Charlie the Janitor?
Oh, that would be awesome too.
That's
You and
our-
I'd be the two watching it. Oh, wait, I got another one. I just said it. Okay, Punisher, Swamp Thing, a 66 series, which seems like a throwaway, but it would be awesome. And then for the 4th one, do the Marvels, the series Marvels that Alex Ross did.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever read that book?
I did not.
Okay, Jack, here's what that book was. It's kind of like our joke about Charlie the Janitor. It was the perspective of a reporter who was a reporter during the time, I think it was a photographer, maybe? I can't remember, of when the Marvels first hit. So, like, there's a lot of shots from his perspective. He looks up, he sees the mole coming up out of the ground, and the Fantastic Four appear for the first time and fight him. So he's like there at the critical moments. Spider-Man is just swinging through the city. So it's like that story of when the Marvels first came.
And he's at like street level.
Yes. So now it's that would make just an absolutely wonderful miniseries, and you could make it very stylized. So I doubt they're going to do that, but man, that would be a perfect Netflix thing to do. And it's a one and done. Do 6 episodes, do 12 episodes, and you're done. Tell the complete story of this reporter with all this Marvel stuff going on in the background. I mean, I would go crazy for that. Okay, how do we unseat the people at Disney so that you and I can start greenlighting all these projects?
Well, my first thing is we could build our own little Marvel universe theme park.
Okay. You know what? That's
only
actually
for-
happening. I think Tokyo is getting the first one.
Oh man, that ruins it. So maybe we could do like all the street level characters, like Charlie the Janitor and the Marvels.
All the characters nobody cares about except us.
Yeah, and that would be the theme park of like tier 2 and tier 3 superheroes. For those that it's like, yeah, everybody's into Superman, but
Yeah, but here you go. Here's Quicksilver. Who's Quicksilver? Not the one from X-Men. I mean the villain from Spider-Man from like issue 18.
Oh wow, man. Yeah, you went real backdoor on that one.
Yeah. I'm not talking Quicksilver, the one that everybody knows. I'm talking the villain. It was a guy, I'll never forget this guy. It was a guy who had a suit that he sprayed in Teflon, and it was so slick that he could slide around and go really fast. Yeah. I didn't say they were all winners.
carries around his cooking pot with nonstick
Right.
spray.
No, it's his partner is that guy with the weird sweater that used to. That's amazing. He was on all those infomercials.
Oh, that's
That would be
awesome.
his sidekick. Hello, Quicksilver. That's amazing. I'm doing my Quicksilver impression right now, but you don't hear it because he's so fast.
I thought you were doing Austin Powers.
I do a better Austin Powers than that. Just not right now.
Well, it definitely slipped. So I guess we should...
Are we talking about the show? Let's get back to the show here. So, okay, so Man Thing, the Nick Fury's dead thing. Let's see, what else?
Well, they outed Ward for real this time because the team we've known for quite a while, but the team finally figures out by examining one of the rooms, pulls down.
Oh, that was awesome! That was awesome when
Ward is Hydra.
He pulled the screwdriver out and it said Ward is Hydra. That was fantastic. What a great image! And I love how he caught it. He's walking by and their pictures. He's like day, night, day, night. That doesn't work. And then he sees the screwdriver. That was so great. And then at the same time, Simmons finds Koenig, that trickle of blood. It was like, oh my gosh. The whole thing unraveled right there. I absolutely loved how Skye got away from Ward.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? To me, I was really wondering how they're going to do this. She's up on the plane. What are they going to do with this thing? I thought they're going to do one of these things like when he jumped off the plane and saved her. That's what I thought was going to happen again. Only this time she was going to get away. So I like that's what I thought it was leading to, and there was even a moment in the show where it looked like it was going that way. Thank goodness it didn't. I thought this made sense. It lands. She's taking him to the place where the coordinates where they have to do this. That all made sense to me.
Right.
And it was great when she called him out. She was awesome in this episode.
Oh yeah, that was just vicious. It's like you little lying skank. You're just let him have it.
Yes.
You know, how is it, to lie to your friends and to live that lie and stab people in the back and shoot your friends in the back of the head.
Oh yeah, that was really, really fantastic.
And by the way, I've just outed you, and she whips the screen out and she's plastered his face on all the local police reports.
Well, and you knew he was going to take out that room of cops. I mean, the guy's a specialist, and he's doing it. She's escaping. She gets in the car. I thought she'd got away, and then Mike Peterson, Deathlock, shows up.
Oops.
Yep. And I love that she was appealing to his human side, and he said, they're going to blow a hole in my brain. So as much as like you're thinking, okay, he's a bad guy, he's not a bad guy. He's doing what he's being forced to do. And as soon as that is resolved, we're going to have Deathlock here. And you know what? We could have Deathlock as a regular character. Although, I need him to look a little more Deathlocky, because right now he looks like he's wearing like high school football gear with lights on it.
Yeah, it's like what was the Underoos? It's like somebody remember Underoos? It's like somebody put plastic on a set of Underoos.
Of course I remember Underoos.
Good God.
That's so funny.
So here was the whole thing about that. And if there was a redemption from Ward, I think I might have caught it here when she's not giving up the information. Skye has said, you know what, I will basically, I'm not giving it up. You're going to have to kill me. You're going to have to torture me, but you're not getting it. And so Deathlock gets a little thing from the clairvoyant, which we just know as Agent Garrett. And it says, okay, execute plan B. So he comes up and Ward says, come on, Skye. This is it. Deathlock's here. And he said, he's about to ring your bell. And then Deathlock whips around and puts this little quarter-sized thing on his chest.
It stops his heart.
Oh my God. It was like they're killing him. Yes. And Ward, for the first time, I don't think he's realized the depth of what he's into now.
Yeah, but you know what? When that happened, when he came out of it, I was thinking the same thing, like, okay, this might be where the redemption starts. No, I don't think it did, because all he did was get mad, like, you did that to me. Like he just was a jerk about it. It wasn't more like it, I don't know. I didn't see the redemption happen there. I think that was the moment of redemption and he chose a different path.
Well, I don't think he really chose one way or the other, but I think it was a moment of realization where coming out with the comment, "Oh, if you do that again, I'll kill you."
Yeah.
Well, okay, hey dude, Deathlock is already dead. By all sense of the word, the guy isn't still alive.
Right.
He's not human anymore. It's like, telling Superman that you're
Well,
going
he
to
can't
shoot.
control it. He is human. He just can't control it because he's being controlled.
Yeah, but I
And
mean,
the person controlling him is Garrett, who is Ward's buddy.
right, but he's superhuman on top of it.
Right.
So even if there is anything human, I mean, he's riddled with centipede. He's got all these like machine parts integrated into him.
Yeah.
He's got an eye that it can see X-ray vision and can explode his brain at any given moment.
Right.
And get incoming texts. And you really think that Ward on his best day,
it should have had JKLOL at the end of that little text that came to him too.
Right.
Winky face, JKLOL.
Yeah. Yeah, just like, hey, put up with Ward, little winky face.
Winky face.
God. I mean, it was so ridiculous. Like, I will kill you. It's like I was about to say, it's like trying to shoot Superman in the chest. It's like, hey, if you tell that bad joke again, I'm going to shoot you point blank range because that'll really get you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so scared.
Yeah. Right.
No, stop.
It either kind of made him, like you say, maybe it didn't give him that, but I think it just made him a little more pathetic. Like, you are so in over your head if you think that you're a threat to Deathlock.
Right.
And yeah,
you're a specialist, but dude, he's Deathlock.
Right. If Garrett so much as has a bad day, Ward is done.
Like Tony Stark could take on Deathlock, but that's Tony Stark in the Iron Man outfit. You're not in the Iron Man outfit. Sorry, dude.
Yeah. As soon as you go to block his punch, his iron Deathlock arm will crush his hand and make pudding out of his brain.
I like that.
Brain pudding.
Brain pudding.
A nice southern meal.
Ew. Gross.
With grits and rice and butter.
Wait, now I'm starting to get in on it. Hold on a second. Keep talking.
Bacon?
Is Simmons making this? I think that's why I like Simmons so much, because what's her solution to all the stress?
Pancakes.
I'm going to go make pancakes. I'm like, oh, that's my woman.
I thought that was a euphemism for something.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to like,
Rob's hungry. Let's eat. If she had said I'm making coffee, I would have married her right there.
Oh, there you go.
How do you think Martha got me?
Let's go out for coffee.
Yeah, back then it was, you know what? Do you want to go out for pizza? Yes, I do.
Now for me, the first big date I took my wife out on was Famous Dave's, and they came out with a platter full of pork, and that was it.
A trough for you, Jack. Come on.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah, they serve it in a trash can lid.
Oh, I know. It's awesome.
It is.
It's awesome. I'm a big fan of Famous Dave's.
Yeah, how could you not be?
Well, since we went gluten-free, we haven't been able to eat any of that stuff because a lot of that stuff has gluten in it.
Oh, for the barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce. Now, we have found some excellent barbecue sauce that doesn't have it, but Famous Dave's does. So can't go there, which is very sad.
Well, actually, you can go there. You tell them to cook it dry, and you bring your own barbecue sauce.
Oh, you know what, Jack? You just might have changed my life right there.
Boom. Hey, it's worth the $20 you paid for the podcast.
Did you stutter in the middle of that too?
That was intentional. Because you didn't actually pay to listen to this.
Yeah, right. Right.
Oh, it was like wait.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing this out of the goodness of our heart. And that's why people love us.
So I got two more things. We have just hardly talked about this. First of all, Sky calls Ward a Nazi. Great Red Skull reference. That whole segment, awesome. And I was like, you know what? We need Red Skull. Bring him back.
I think that's one of their unsubtle ways again.
Well, and isn't Red Skull very important to AIM?
I don't know.
I believe he has something to do with AIM and Hydra. I think
Isn't
well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
is
Watch, people are going to write it and say I'm an idiot. You know what? Very good chance I am. But I think he actually has ties to AIM at some point. So, and I could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't
But
know, I
all
thought
I know
that's
is bring me the Red Skull.
well, I thought that's why you're supposed to be on the show is to answer all these questions.
Well, normally, yes. But I'm on a roll, man. I'm on a roll. I also like the line, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. Oh, I like when she called him a serial killer, too. Because remember,
Yo,
Sky said when she was having that argument with him, she goes, I'm going to throw up. And then she's like, you're a serial killer. That was just that whole thing. You're a Nazi. You're a serial killer. And he's like, no, I'm not a Nazi. She's like, yeah, okay. Red
Red
Skull.
Skull.
Yeah. Who do you think started it? So that was awesome. Coulson getting on the plane. That was great. And then I got the other one I want to bring up. Oh, and Coulson using the night-night gun on Talbot was awesome. But then the one I want to bring up, the Lola segment was spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. All season, what have we been waiting for? We talk about Lola. We're waiting for Lola. I kept thinking it's going to get to the end of the season. They're going to have him fly off like in Back to the Future. Where we're going, Sky, we don't need roads. But no. Instead, we got Lola action in this. And we need more. That was awesome. I loved it.
I like the fact that he's okay, buckle in. And they start dropping, and of course you see Sky floating away. He's like, I told you to buckle up.
Yeah, that was great. Well, and I liked when they showed underneath the car, and you could see that the one side was out, which is why he was having trouble getting it going.
Right.
That was really, well done.
See. Now, was he the one that shot through the window? Because did she say I can't believe they shot Lola? Because it sounded like I can't believe you shot Lola.
No, they must have shot Lola.
Okay.
He wasn't shooting through the window.
No, that didn't make sense to me. And
no, but yeah, you might be right. She might have said it in a way that made you think that because something I can't quite remember. I can't even remember what Red Skull did. But for some reason, I'm thinking you're right that it kind of stuck out like she might have said that. But there's no way he shot Lola.
Right.
I mean, the way he feels about Lola, didn't he say something like they're going to pay for that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then it had the headlight guns. How cool was that? That was just all great. I loved this episode. And I mean, it was just payoff after payoff.
And we still got the season finale coming up. So
aren't there 2 more episodes?
There are.
Oh, I can't wait, man.
There is. I've been hesitating here a little bit because I'm trying to look up the Red Skull AIM kind of connection here.
I'm gonna be so wrong.
And you really have to get through a whole bunch of stuff. But
I'm so busted. He's Hydra.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just wrong.
You never know with AIM. You never kind of got the feeling that organization was above board anyway.
True.
But I think AIM was still kind of within the confines of the Shield. Kind of, they're on the same side, but
AIM is?
And not AIM.
Sword is.
Sword
is, but there's something with Sword where they're like politically at odds with Shield.
Right.
And it's not that they're a bad group, it's that they're politically at odds, and it is a different like perspective on things. And it's going to happen at some point here. As long as this series continues, eventually we're going to get Sword because if I remember right, Joss Whedon is the one that created Sword in the comic books. So of course he's going to want to have his baby in there, which I think is great. I think they totally need Shield and Sword together.
Well, and I think I spoke earlier is that's where I see I said the kind of Sword coming when I said the birth of AIM, I think it's the birth of Sword where where politically
that makes sense. Yes.
Politically
this is the birth of Sword.
Yeah, it's the perfect time for them to come in, and it gives you that once Shield kind of gets back up and running, it's going to be the perfect foil for their kind of competition.
Yep, this is the perfect chance for Sword to rise.
And of course, have we even seen AIM? Have we? They've only had 1 or 2 references
Right.
to AIM, but we really haven't seen them at
Well,
all.
I still go back to that scene with the one in the flower dress when they first went in and they found the guy that did the fire. There were the guys in those suits, and they looked a lot like AIM guys. I really think that was a clue that AIM is out there. I really do. I don't think that was, oh, they were in fire suits and that's it. I think that was a clue that there is this faction of AIM, and maybe they will break off from Hydra. Maybe they're maybe in the MCU they're a faction of Hydra.
Right.
Which would then make what I said before, that Red Skull was involved then because he was involved in Hydra, and that means that he was involved with AIM if they were broken off from them. See how cool I am?
Oh, you're so cool.
You're so cool.
AIM actually was mentioned first in the original comics, The Strange Tales number 142, and it was
before anything else, before Hydra.
Let's see. Let's see. When was the first? No, it was after Hydra. AIM was originally known as Them and was first mentioned in Strange Tales number 142.
Okay.
And Them was first depicted in Tales of Suspense 78 in June of 66, soon after the organization would change its name to AIM, which first appeared in Strange Tales, Advanced Idea Mechanics.
Okay.
So I wouldn't also be surprised if they didn't kind of change their acronym. They seem to be fond of doing that.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, they changed the acronym for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, yeah, for what it stands for? Right.
Yeah, kind of to update it.
Although I think that worked for that. I don't think they're going to do that with AIM. I think AIM, it makes sense to keep that same thing for AIM. I think they've already run that course.
It's actually kind of a cool title. If it wasn't a terrorist organization, I'd be all for it.
You join.
I mean, yeah, Advanced Idea
Mechanics. Player?
Advanced Idea Mechanics. It's like, we'll design your webpage for you, and do minor subversion.
Hey, do you guys need somebody to do social media? Because I could learn, and I'd be cool. At AIM.
All hail Hydra. Where's this show gone?
Oh, I don't know.
If we have any listeners left, you could email us at.
Yeah. You know what? Let's do that. Let's get the business out of the way. Email us at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. Let's forget this show one. Just go right to us, because that goes right in. That's just mainlining right to us. Our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com, and you can find all the past episodes of this and our other 28 shows that we have on there, 28 titles that we have on there, and more are coming. It's crazy what's going on around here. Some big announcements coming up in the next, we want to actually do it on here in the next couple of weeks, I have a feeling. So listen for those. You can follow me on Twitter at rsouthgate. You can follow Jack on Twitter at
J Wengroski.
And Jack, go ahead.
WENGROSKY.
Cool. And what is our Twitter for the show?
Oh, I don't know. Why you're asking me?
You don't know?
What is our? It's Nuff Said Pod.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was podcast or just pod, but I think it's just Nuff Said Pod.
Yeah, it's Nuff Said Pod.
It's Nuff Said Pod. All right, we've got a consensus. We're going with that one. I'm actually looking at it here. It says it's actually Nuff Said Podcast on my sheet here.
Oops. What have I been telling people?
I don't know. Maybe that's why you don't get any tweets.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah. It is at Nuff Said Podcast. So, Jack, fail. It's just like I failed with the Red Skull thing. I will not live that one down.
That's true. And we will get people that probably tried to call me out mixing up the reference of AIM and sword, but I already know, so move on. Move on to something else.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, Agent T is going to be writing in. He's one of our Twitter fans. I know he's going to write in, and I would bet Charlie Esser, who is on our Facebook page, is going to be writing in. These guys seem to be really listening, and Spider-Man 360, I have a feeling, will get me on it too. So, guys, I'm ready for you. Let me have it. That's it. I mean, is there anything else you want to cover on this, Jack?
Oh, good Lord, no. I think we did everything but the show.
I think we did. Well, you know what? Just like when Captain America 2 came out, we have a big double episode week coming up because we're both going to go see Spider-Man 2 this weekend. And next week we will be posting our talk about that and our talk about the next Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So big double episode coming up. And yeah, pretty exciting stuff. I think that's it.
That's it here.
All right. Well, for the Nuff Said podcast, I am Ravenous Rob Southgate, if you couldn't tell.
And I am Jiu-Jitsu Jack Wodgrowski.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Until next week, Nuff Said.
Nuff said.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.